Well, if you look at the Asian stocks, they were trading steady in Monday as a holiday thin trading week as investors prepared for a key Federal Reserve meeting later this week scheduled for 15th and 16th of June. Trading volumes are expected to be light with a number of holidays in the region, including in Australia, China, as well as in Hong Kong. Kospi was trading flat while Nikkei was up close to around 0.5% in trade. If you look at the US stocks, well, the US stocks closed modestly higher at the end of a torpid week, marked with a few market-moving catalysts and persistent concerns over whether the current inflation spikes could linger and cause the US Federal Reserve to tighten its dovish policy sooner than expected, and hence we should be watching out for the FOMC meet scheduled on 15th and 16th of June. In US economic data on Friday, the preliminary estimate of the index of consumer sentiment released by the University of Michigan rose to 86.4 in June versus 82.9 in May. The yield on the 10-year Treasury advanced 2 bips to 1.45%. Dow was flat at 34,479, while the S&P was up close to around 0.2% in trade. NASDAQ was up to nearly around 0.3% in trade. If you look at the European stocks, well, the European stocks scaled a record high on Friday on the back of hopes that major central banks will remain accommodative despite signs of rising inflation, while a rally in miners boosted UK shares. Miners jumped 1.9% after data showed Britain's economic output in April was a record 27.6% larger than a year before. Travel and leisure stocks bounced from the previous session's drop. Reopening optimism has put Europe's stock markets to record highs, with investors rotating into cyclical sectors such as commodities, industrials, and banks that tend to benefit from an economic recovery. Eurozone economic sentiment has climbed more than expected in May to a notch of 3-year high. This is the data that was released on Friday. In Europe, DAX was up close to around 0.7%, while CAC was up around a similar level of nearly around 0.8%. FTSE was up to at 0.6% in trade. WTI oil has continued its rise. It rose to 0.8% to $70.9 a barrel. And if you look at the gold futures has fallen slightly 0.9% in trade to $1878 an ounce. In fact, if you look at the recent report coming in from Goldman Sachs on oil, they do state that they're seeing crude oil price at nearly around $80 a barrel.